Okay, I wanted to hop on and talk about Pokemon Champions for a little bit because there's a lot to talk about. Some good, some bad, some ugly, and some beautiful. I'm having a lot of fun right now, personally myself. Like, this isn't going to be a video trash talking Pokemon Champions. But I do want to talk about all the different distinctions there are, the multiple facets uh, that lead to different people feeling different ways about this game. And all of them are justifiable. There are some not great things. For instance, we can talk about the restricted Pokedex and restricted items. When it comes to the restricted Pokedex, VGC formats have always had restricted Pokedexes. You know, you can never use every single Pokemon. Well, not never, but never if you can count mythicals. Basically, never. Okay. Now this one is more restricted than a lot of them. It's a pretty small number of Pokemon overall that you're able to use. But it decreases the power level to a point where a lot more Pokemon are viable. You know, if we had Mega Metagross and Mega Salamence and a whole bunch of other strong Pokemon, Urshifu and like the Treasures of Ruin and Paradox Pokemon and all those, I don't think a Pokemon like Mega Glamora would be as viable. I could be wrong, but in its current state, you can use Mega Glamora, and I think that that's pretty interesting. Certainly, it sucks if you can't use your favorite Pokemon. Mine is Arcanine, so I can use Arcanine, and I'm happy. But one of my others is Phalanx, and I can't use Phalanx yet, even though Phalanx just got a new Mega. And that's part of it. Like, there's a bunch of new Megas that came out, and we don't have access to all of them. Like, why not? We're so excited to finally use all these new Pokemon and their new Megas, and they restricted it. I didn't predict that, and I think that that is weird. Why not give us Mega Phalanx and all the other new Megas, Mega Malamar? Like, come on. It's not going to be good, but I want to try Mega Malamar. But anyway, right now, the first season for the game, it's not that long, just over a month or something. So at the end of the month, hopefully, this Pokedex will be expanded, which I think is the important thing to note. More important than why is it restricted? Nope, that's backwards. More important than the fact that it is restricted is why is it restricted? Because apparently people have data mined the game and seen in the files that the other Pokemon just aren't even in the game at all. They just don't exist. Is that because it's difficult and takes time to put them into the game? So the Pokedex can't be expanded very easily and will take many years to finally get all the Pokemon in? That would suck. Don't get me wrong. I'm having a lot of fun with this game, but please don't tell me it's a technical limitation. Like, this is like Pokemon is the biggest media franchise in the world, and if they're not willing to put in the work to make sure that this competitive simulator is actually able to simulate competitive Pokemon overall, I mean, it's a buzzkill. It's lame. There's no other way to put it. I hope that that's not the reason. I'm okay with being limited to the Pokemon I can use, but temporarily, if it comes out that I'm not going to be able to use Mega Phalanx for a year, I don't know. I don't know if I'll keep playing Pokemon Champions, you know? Because I'm excited. I want to play it. Now, I'm not too worried about Mega Phalanx, but if your favorite Pokemon is, you know, something else that's maybe not exactly a fan favorite. I don't know, how about Flygon? Everybody loves Flygon, but it doesn't have a Mega. It's not as viable as Garchomp, so maybe they're like, meh. Let's not even put it in until 10 years down the line when we absolutely have to fill it up and finish. I mean, that sucks. I want to have fun playing competitive Pokemon. I want to use some oddball Pokemon. Let me do that. Come on, let me use Flygon. It might not be optimal, but I just hope it's not a technical limitation. Same thing for the items. I'm sure that the items are less of a technical limitation. Like, there's no way. That has to be so easy to implement. A freaking choice band. Like, they already have choice scarf. Like, Life Orb is like the easiest programmer thing ever. After attack, inflict 30% damage to Pokemon holding this item. I'm sure the problem is not a technical one for the items. Well, pretty sure. You never know with Pokemon. But yeah, I think the more interesting question is, why is it restricted? Why are the Pokemon not in the game whatsoever? I understand keeping it so that we can't import these Pokemon in, so that we don't waste our box slots with Pokemon that can't be used in the current regulation. But the fact that they're not in the files of the game at all for future regulations is really weird and stressful to me. We can only wait until the end of the regulation to see what happens, how many new Pokemon they add, because they're going to have to add quite a few to keep these regulations fresh over time, I would imagine. I mean, with each new game, usually it's just the new Pokedex by itself, which feels fresh because new Pokemon, and then the expanded every single Pokemon that can be in the game. That's a huge change. And then like restricted decks with legendaries, and that's another huge change. But if you can't do this normal swap of regulations like they have in the past, I'm not sure what they'll do, and it's kind of stressful. Something else that people have been talking about since this game went live is bugs and performance. Like there was a glitch at the very start where Mega Evolution didn't happen in the correct order. Like, how does that happen? The Unnerve ability not activating properly to stop Pokemon from eating berries. Wolf Lick got soft locked in the tutorial, although that seems to be kind of a Wi-Fi thing, but still, why isn't there a message saying unstable connection? Like, it's just a polish thing. Like, that can be fixed. But why was it released with these bugs? Again, this is Pokemon. We hold you to a higher standard. Like, you don't have to have these problems. You could have fixed these. Absolutely. Maybe the biggest thing is that like the Switch 2 version is locked at the performance of the Switch 1 version for now. I mean, I don't understand the programming behind it, don't get me wrong, but that seems really weird. Maybe someone who knows more about programming can explain why they would do this. But I can't. The Switch 2 is a new console. They want to show off how good it is. Pokemon is, again, the biggest media franchise in the world by sales. This is a good way to show off the power of the Switch 2. But fine, whatever. I mean, it's not the biggest deal. The Pokemon game isn't some Twitch action shooter where every frame matters, or a fighting game or anything like that. It's turn-based, so it's fine if it's a little slower. It's just disappointing. I want it to be crisp and nice. I have a Switch 2, let me use it as a Switch 2. So the next thing is expectations and reality. This is a Pokemon game, and Pokemon fans, you know, they come from every background in the world, and they want so many different things. They didn't talk a whole lot about what this game would be like, so, you know, they basically said it would be a battle simulator, but they didn't say anything else, and they showed trailers that looked like cutscenes with named characters. I don't know why you would do that. In the current state of the game, these characters are not important whatsoever. They give you the tiniest fraction of a framework, of a skeleton for the game to work. They're like, we gave you a gym, and we are happy when you get into Great Ball and Ultra Ball and Master Ball tier and whatnot. Congrats, and we'll give you rewards. That's it. That's all that they do. They are so pointless. But the problem is managing expectations. People saw these characters and went, there could be single player content in here. You know? I love Pokemon single player content. Let me get into the game. Let me download it. And then they go through some terrible cutscenes and realize that that's it. There is no single player content. You don't play this game for single player at all. At least you shouldn't. It's pointless. So, I don't know. They just didn't manage expectations terribly well. Now, they never said there would be single player content, But when you have this many people watching every move you make, and you put in these stupid tutorial characters, they're gonna think maybe there's some. Just a little bit, probably not much, but maybe there's some single player content where you can get a nice reward, a Mega Stone or something, but there is none. And that is kind of disappointing. Like, it's a Pokemon game, and it doesn't look like there's any plan to expand and do a single player content mode, like an arcade mode, like in a fighting game would have, or anything like that. It's just PvP, which is what I expected. So it's fine. I don't care, honestly. I mean, I would like a single player mode for content if there was one, but I'm just focused on the PvP. And that's what I'm enjoying and having a lot of fun with. So it doesn't bug me that much, but I just don't get the point of these characters that are just the most nothing burgers that I've ever seen in my whole life. Obviously, if we're going to have this discussion about Pokemon Champions, we've got to talk about accessibility and monetization. And I would say that on the whole, they have succeeded. Free-to-play is totally viable. There are multiple YouTubers that have done free-to-play challenges, showing off how far they can get in free-to-play. Jimothy Cool, Wolf Glick did a video where he got to Master Ball tier in like 4 hours, something like that. Using only free-to-play, no Pokemon Home, and no paying for the starter pack or the membership or anything like that. And they're both getting through relatively easily. They're both good players. They know what they're doing, obviously. But if you're okay being a little slower than them, sitting in Pokeball and Great Ball and Ultra Ball tier before going to Masters and learning your way while being free-to-play, you can absolutely do that. You can be free to play and get to the highest echelons of competitive Pokemon. The biggest restriction to me is the starting box size of 30, which is absolutely enough to make a couple viable teams, but it will always feel like a restriction looming over your head and something that will affect every decision that you make in the game. Every recruitment you try to do or import from Pokemon Home, if you count Pokemon Home as free to play, either way, if you don't pay for the starter pack, every import from Pokemon Home, every recruitment is going to feel like a really big decision. You can move Pokemon back to Pokemon Home if they were from Pokemon Home, but you can't move them there from Champions. So you're always going to have a limited amount eventually from recruitments. It doesn't feel good to have that hanging over you. This is probably the main reason that going totally free to play in Champions in the long term would be pretty difficult. Some people might be okay with a restriction like that looming over every decision that they make. I'm not. I don't want to have to think about that limit at all. I'm already at the point where I've got like 70 Pokemon out of 100. I bought the starter pack, so I got up to 80 box slots, and then as you progress through the tiers, you get some more. So I'm at 100 total, which is pretty nice. I'm already at the point where it's starting to feel a little restrictive there, but I know I have more room to play around and figure it out, and hopefully at some point they will add an option to unlock more box slots somehow, some way, because I would want that. I want to be able to throw, a whole bunch of Pokemon and just have extra Pokemon in there for different regulations, if I expect different regulations to be coming soon or back. I like to have that kind of freedom. Not everybody needs to, and for those people, you don't need to. But I did want to talk about the starter pack, because I do think it's a good value. You get a lot of training tickets and quick tickets, but the big thing are the box slots. It's $9 Canadian, so probably like, I don't know, $5 US or something like that. Freaking US dollar is crazy compared to Canadian right now. So For me, it was a good value proposition. I've already gotten my $9 out of fun for it, for sure. And I think if you want to play it long term, I think the starter pack's a pretty easy choice, you know? Don't get it if you're not sure, but if you have played it a little bit and you've had some fun and you're not feeling great about the box slots, but you know you want to keep playing, the starter pack seems like a pretty easy recommendation. The membership, not so much. It's expensive. And I hate monthly subscription services for stuff like this. Like, I don't pay for Pokemon Home. I just take the 30 slots from Pokemon Home, and that's fine because I'm not going to keep them in Home. I'm just going to move them there to move them to Champions or back. So the 30 slots in Home is fine. I'm not paying for any more, and I don't want to pay for monthly membership kind of stuff. Speaking of, you don't need Nintendo Switch Online, the paid version, to play Pokemon Champions. So that's nice. It fits in with the normal Nintendo MO of not making you pay for online for free-to-play games, because this is a free-to-play game, and I'm glad that they are sticking to that, because it really would feel terrible if like this was the only game you were playing online and you needed to pay monthly for it. I don't know that I would do that. I don't know. I hate the monthly subscriptions like that, and just feels like it's sucking money out of your wallet all the time, and it's easy to forget about, and it's just terrible. I did want to talk about Mega Floette, because there are some Pokemon which are unobtainable without buying other games. Right now it's Mega Floette. In the future it could be more. So that kills the accessibility to a point. I mean, it matters how important these Pokemon are, and it's not like Mega Floette is like that strong. Like, people are saying it's like the best Mega in the game. I don't really get it. I don't know. I usually win against Mega Floette teams. I don't know, man. Arcanine's good. I like having that fairy resist, but I don't know. It is really strong. I'm not arguing with that. And the fact that a lot of players can't get it without buying other games, and then even if they do buy the game, they've got to beat the entire game and then do a bunch of extra stuff at the end in the Infinite ZA Royale. You know, I have Legend ZA, and I don't have Mega Floette, because I don't want to do the freaking 25 extra fights in the Infinite ZA Royale. Why? Like, I have played so much of that game, and I still don't have access to this Mega. Is that totally necessary? But anyway, I'm still in a privileged position. Like, I could have Mega Floette. I have the game. I just have to play it more to get Mega Floette, and it would be fine. Other people don't. This is a free-to-play game. Why do I have to buy a freaking $90 game, Canadian, to get this other Pokemon that's quite good? Like, I'm worried maybe Winds and Waves comes out, and there's going to be, you know, the legendary Pokemon or something that you can only get from that game, and it's going to be the best Pokemon competitively in Pokemon history, and you won't be able to get it without paying, and so free-to-play players will just be stuck in the lower tiers for that whole regulation. I don't know. It's a sticky wicket. I'll tell you that much. It doesn't feel good. Like, I understand it. You want to encourage people to buy the other games, but this is supposed to be the competitive battle simulator, and it's, you know, it looks a lot nicer than Showdown. Certainly, I'm having a lot more fun on it than Showdown. I like to see the animations. I like the whole pomp and circumstance and everything. Yeah, man. If you go on Showdown, you can use Mega Floette. And you don't have to pay, and that's pretty nice. Why can't we just do the same? The more restrictions you add like this, the more we're gonna go back to the old ways of Pokemon, where competitive Pokemon was very hard to get into. Just make it easy. It's a battle simulator. This is what it's for. Okay, so the things we've talked about so far, I think, have been getting a lot of discourse. But I wanted to talk about something that I haven't seen people talking about as much. I guess because competitive players maybe just don't care on the whole. But I'm sure that there are a lot that do care, that just haven't gotten their voice out there as much as some of these other big players. And that's customization. So there's a lot to talk about with customization. The starting selection of clothes and accessories is okay. I think it's not mind-blowing, and there are a lot that are kind of repeated. Like, there are so many hoodies in this game and sweaters that all look the exact same, but with different like color combinations and designs on them, which is, I mean, I like having a lot of similar options so that I can really refine what I'm going for, but I want big changes as well. Nothing excites me too much right now, but they have all the time in the world to improve the selection, so I'm not that worried about it. Like, the clothes for girls are pretty fine. There's like one sweater with like, I don't know, goes further down the back than in the front so that you can see your Pokeball holster thing, whatever you want to call that. I think that one's pretty nice. And you can wear it on a dude. I just don't like it for myself. But yeah, overall, I think customization for clothes and accessories wise is fine for now. I'm really excited for more music to be added. Pokemon has so many good tracks, and we're kind of stuck with basic trainer battle tracks at the moment. Like, give me some Sword and Shield gym battle music. Give me the Treasures of Ruin battle music. Oh, I love that song so much. Give me Marnie's theme. Give me Red's theme. Give me the Hoenn Elite Four theme. Oh, please, gosh, I will pay for Hoenn music. I love that's my region, and I am I'm a slut for some Hoenn music. Give me that. Okay, I expected more trainer customization though. Like, specifically the trainer themselves, not the clothes. Like, why can't I play as an old man, for instance? Now, I hate to go back to Pokemon Battle Revolution, and in a lot of ways its customization was worse. But in other ways it was great. You could play as big bodybuilder muscle man, or as old man, or, you know, whatever you want. And I thought that was pretty cool. I understand that with the clothing system, you're kind of stuck to similar body proportions so that the clothing will fit them all. But that's not really true. Like, there are so many games that do character customization that is really powerful, that changes based on body proportions, and people can wear it. I mean, you can look at big games, Baldur's Gate, a whole bunch of MMOs like Final Fantasy. These games can change the clothing to fit the body of the character. Of course, Pokemon is only the biggest media franchise of all time. I don't think they have money for that. Come on. Maybe there's a risk that they don't want people dressing up as, I don't know, like little children or something. I guess that makes sense. Just make it so that they can't. I don't know. Don't give them that option. Make every character look like an adult. I don't know. That doesn't seem like so hard a problem to fix, does it? I think we can deal with that. The big thing is that it doesn't look like there's infrastructure to add this kind of thing. Like, they specifically say your trainer cannot be changed later, no matter what. So I don't think they're gonna add, you know, like an old man body type at any point, or a bodybuilder type or anything in the future to change to. We're gonna be stuck with these same boring characters, the same 8. Like, really, if we're stuck with them forever, we're stuck with 8? And they all look so similar? It's not really 8, it's just like 2 plus 4 different skin tones each. I just feel like with a battle simulator, you gotta have more customization. Speaking of, why are there only 2 stadiums, or arenas? The stadium and the training dojo. I thought for sure, this is like the surefire, easiest way to take your free-to-play game and make some money off of it. Just charge for different arenas. Maybe you could argue it's because you don't want to charge for something that would affect the battlefield for both trainers. Right? If I buy this cool forest background arena, then maybe my opponent shouldn't get to see it because they haven't paid for it. I don't know. That's fair. Except Does it have to be that way? You could just show it on one player's screen. I don't know. I don't feel like you would have to show it the same way on both trainers' screens. I don't know. I thought that this would be so easy, a slam dunk, if you will, for some good aesthetic, free-to-play payment option that will not affect balance or pay-to-win whatsoever. Come on, it's so easy, just do that. Other games get around this, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel has it only on your side. I think that would be kind of lame, but I still think you could just show it on your screen. Like, if it's about, like, you want the competitive scene to always have the same clear visual of the stereotypical arena that Master Duel has, fine, just tell competitors at official events to use it or force them to use it in the settings of the game. It's not that hard. There's a little known game called Pokedex Tournament, which I've made videos for and I am a big fan of. I love this game. And in part because you have such cool arenas in that game with music tapped to each arena. I don't know, you could have gotten some inspiration from Pokedex Tournament, that arena that you're in, like a giant undersea area and there's glass on all sides and you can see like Wailord and Kyogre go by in the background. Like, come on, it's so cool. The stadium we have is cool. It's a big arena. It's got a whole bunch of light effects and all that. But I mean, when I think about the arenas that are in Pokedex Tournament, it's like, now those are battle arenas for Pokemon, man. That is as cool as it gets. So I really hope that they add the ability to fight in different arenas coming soon, please. Like, let me go to Dragon's Rest in Pokedex Tournament. It's so freaking cool. Speaking about the actual battling, just for a little bit, because I don't want this video to get too out of date, the current regulation I think is really fun. It is quite restrictive to the number of Pokemon you can use, as I said, but I really like the meta as it is. I think a lot of Pokemon are really viable. The way that it is, the meta develops so fast. A strong Pokemon's found, a counter to that Pokemon's found, a counter to the counter of the Pokemon's found, a counter to the counter of the counter of the Pokemon's found. It's just, it's insane. It's like Charizard Y is strong, so Aerodactyl's good, so, you know, Ice types become better to stop Aerodactyl, and then Charizard Y gets better again to stop the Ice types, and it's just boom, 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 everywhere. I'm having a lot of fun figuring it out and adapting to the meta as I go, finding counters for things like Sneasler, because Sneasler's pretty crazy. I do like just using Weavile, because Weavile's just faster and can kill it with triple axle. And I'm realizing, yeah, I'm having a lot of fun trying to find all of the counters to the counters to the counters, and sitting along with the meta as it develops and trying to find my own ways to counter meta threats that are around. Milotic is becoming more meta, but that was a Pokemon I was using from the very start. I could tell. That thing is so tanky, man. They talk about Mega Aggron being the wall and invincible. Nah, it's Milotic. That thing never dies in one hit. It's just insane, and nobody wants to focus it because it doesn't do that much damage until you intimidate it, and then it rocks them. I don't know. I'm having a lot of fun, as you can see. I complained a good chunk in this video just because I think it could be better and I want it to be better because I care. I hope it does get better. I think it's in a good state right now. I just think over time it will lose its luster and its shininess, and if they really want this to be what competitive Pokemon looks like for the next 10-20 years, they're gonna have to be open to changes. Big changes that will require actual programming and people to help fix, which is not something I have seen from the Pokemon Company with games that are already out. They don't like to make those big sweeping changes. I hope that for this game things are different, because I'm having a lot of fun. Anyway, those are my thoughts. If there's anything big about Pokemon Champions that you feel like I missed that we should talk about, please let me know. And we can do that. Yeah. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a dandy day.